I am Andy Howe. I'm the Clay County Sheriff. I've been working here with the Sheriff's Office since 1988. I've been the Sheriff since 2003. I started working here before the Public Safety Center addition was put on the courthouse in 1988 and been around for most of the changes in quite a while now.
Hi, I'm CRUM. I'm the Clay County Auditor here at the Clay County Courthouse. I have been in the office since 2004 and have been the auditor since 2013. The purpose of this video is to explain to you some of the issues and problems that we are having with our 108-year-old courthouse.
We're hoping this information will help you make an informed decision when the time comes to vote next spring on a new courthouse.
Due to the changes in computer equipment that have evolved over the years, our server room has wires that run from all different parts of the courthouse through the jail, back through the men's bathroom, and then along this wall to the staff. We don't have any proper computers set up in our courthouse, and it is a problem. Another issue that we're finding we face with the computer era that we're in is Wi-Fi. It's very, very difficult to get Wi-Fi in a building with thick walls, solid walls. And so when it comes time for everything to switch over to 5G, the current problems we face might not be an issue because we may not have Wi-Fi at all. Our IT people are not convinced that it will actually work in this building. We rely on it for commission meetings and for court proceedings, as well as other everyday tasks.
Here you will see the copious amounts of wiring that runs through the jail, through the bathroom, and back to the server room, where it is difficult for tech assistants to manage the difficulties that arise with the system. Without a proper setup and wiring system, as the internet capabilities outside of the courthouse continues to strengthen, the system within these walls will simply not compete.
Yeah, I found that a lot of people think that the jail is in what we call the Public Safety Center off Washington Street, but for the most part, the county jail is in this area from the elevator to the west and around back to the men's room, which is well within the courthouse itself, and very little of it's actually in the safety center.
In this boiler room, you will find the sewer pipeline for the entire courthouse and jail. This pipeline oftentimes is overwhelmed by the continuous use of that system, for the system is aged and holds all of the responsibility to house the sewer line for the entire building and jail.
So what this sewer pipe is the entire sewer for the entire courthouse, including the jail. And matter of fact, you can see the jail inlets right here. And so when the inmates flush anything and everything down the toilet, it floods the sewer for the entire courthouse.
Here you can see the photo of flooding in the basement of the courthouse. This is a common problem that can be resolved by foundation waterproofing, new and expanded plumbing capabilities, and exterior stone repair. In the commission room and many other areas of the courthouse, there is a definite lack of employee workspace and new code-required safe zones. With an expansion of this building and an efficient system setup from room to room, there will be more space for staff to do their jobs efficiently and effectively. With many areas of the courthouse, you can also find mold. With the current systems we have, there is not the capabilities to heat, cool, and ventilate the space within the courthouse and law enforcement center, thus creating a need for a new heating, cooling, and ventilation system. The only ADA handicap accessible restroom is in the basement, which causes a problem for those that need this restroom. Individuals find themselves having to take the elevator way out of the way for that individual, especially since the elevator has been known to have difficulties working, which is another issue that must be resolved. As you can see from these images, the treasurer's office is packed full of desks and has a lack of office space for the staff. The wiring within this space is also layered on top of one another, which relates back to the lack of a proper setup and impedes on internet capabilities of the courthouse. Here again, you will see the wiring issues within these tight spaces of the treasurer's office. This can also be found in many other areas of the courtroom and the law enforcement center. Here you will see the courtroom of the courthouse. Within this space, there are a few issues that must be addressed. First, the courtroom has incurable deficiencies that limit proper movement of the people within the space. The jury section is positioned so that not all individuals can access it, specifically individuals needing a handicap accessible space. The lights within the courtroom are aged and unstable. Repairs made on these fixtures would physically damage the lights themselves. The light bulbs cannot be changed for fear of the fixtures breaking. The sound system in the courtroom does work, but was installed long after construction and is not ideal for its purpose. Next, the ladies' restroom on the third floor is not handicap accessible. As mentioned before, the only ADA handicap accessible restroom is in the basement. The second courtroom on the third floor does not have proper insulation, thus does not allow for privacy between the restroom and the offices during a hearing. It is very easy to hear the testimonies given or even private conversations between the defendant and their counsel. You can also find that the second courtroom has an incurable deficiency that limits proper movement of the people within this space. Here you can find the same wiring issues as within the rest of the courthouse.
It's impossible to secure the courthouse because it's got 3 entrances and each of those has a stairway near it. So it's about impossible to create a checkpoint for people to pass through. So in an effort to protect the courts, the only thing we can do is secure the courtroom itself. Even the third floor has 4 different methods to get up here, 4 different stairways, or 3 stairways and an elevator to come up to the third floor. So we have to route traffic into the courtroom itself through a metal detector. And it's the only place we can secure. We can't secure the entire courthouse itself the way it is. The jury room's so small that right now there's 6 chairs around the table, but there should be 12. And so the jury has to crowd into this little room. And then they have to share this bathroom that has a step, so it's not handicap accessible. It's tiny, and there's no privacy.
Within the jail, there are incurable deficiencies that limit the proper movement of the people within the space. Just as previously mentioned, the jail is integrated into areas of the courthouse which are not commonly known by the public. So there is a lack of privacy for the inmates and a lack of privacy for those within the courthouse. Because of the way that the jail is designed, it finds itself overcrowded and looking for more space. Here you can see more areas of overcrowding and space needed for the jail.
Then they've added a second dispatch station, and then when they needed to add a third, we had to move the sheriff's secretary out. And then so we had to remodel and move people out of offices. So now there's 3 dispatch stations and a dispatch supervisor using what was a file room. And we can't add another one. And we're also completely maxed out the power capability in that room. When it was built, when this building was built in 1988, there was 1 computer, and that was the teletype. And then since then, we've added multiple computers in the whole building, but in that room, it's completely maxed out the power.
Within this space, you can see that there is a lack of space for the staff to work and not a proper setup or wiring for this staff. There's also a lack of space and privacy within the interview rooms.
Because we ended up draping a tarp over this equipment. This is critical equipment, and we had water running on it. You shouldn't really have water pipes above your server and 911 equipment, but we're so limited in space that there wasn't much we could do about that. And so we were able to fix the water pipe and
From these images, you can see the water damage found within the Law Enforcement Center. This can be resolved by a new and expanded plumbing system, exterior stone repair, and modifications to the roof and the windows. Both the courthouse and the Law Enforcement Center are in need of repair to fix the mold and exterior damage.